No, 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 no. See, I told you, it's inescapable. Such a haunting melody to that song I talked about on my last video, so forgive me, or don't, I really don't care. This last video tonight, yes, I'm not going to be doing many videos tonight, and if you watched my channel update, you'll understand a bit why. Uh, is one that, again, I feel I can summarize. Resident Evil producer revises opinion on gameplay shift. User feedback dictates unfavorable response to the new direction. And really, I could read his quotes, but you can read them for yourself down in the underbar, because I just want to take a moment to say that, yeah, like, I liked Revelations, but I liked Revelations in part because the 3D was really good, except for the sniper parts, but and it was very in-depth. It certainly was a reason to own a 3DS. And it puzzles me that it's not going to make it to PS Vita, but I told you guys, I told you 1,000 times that right now devs don't want to touch the Vita with a 10-foot pole. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. Sony is in real trouble with the Vita, which sucks because it's a great hardware. I'm serious. It's a great hardware. But I didn't buy it for hardware. I bought it for games. And if there's only 2 games that I'm looking forward to in the entirety of 2013, Killzone for Vita and Tearaway, I'm sorry, I can buy those on a bargain bin, as well as fish probably buy some pre-owned Vita with maybe even a bigger than 100 gigabyte card for what I paid for the damn thing originally. If that. It's worth owning someday, the Vita. Now is not the time, and if my ownership keeps that system afloat when it should sink, then I'm not going to own it anymore. And so, as I stated, in fact, with my birthday money, I'm actually so very close to the Wii U Deluxe model that I may actually consider trading in some games that I had hoped to kind of hold on to in order to probably reacquire them at some point in the near future, those games, because I would love to be able to pick up my Wii U before I start school again. But okay, I'm sorry. Look, this was inevitable. This was needed. It does not excuse the pre-hate everybody had even before the demo came out for Resident Evil 6. No, I'm sorry. You guys were complainers and you did not have a point. Now, the game itself, Resident Evil 6, in fact, I never understood the hate for 5. I liked 5, especially Gold Edition with all the unlockables. Phenomenal. Especially because Chris starts with one of his costumes, I think it's called Heavy Chris, really, really resembles a Colonial Marine minus the helmet. So in a way, I could kind of play act as Chris as a Colonial Marine. Instead of busting bugs, going on a bug hunt, he's fighting a world full of parasitic things that overtook a different colony, and only badass Chris Redfield as a Colonial Marine is capable of taking these people out. I know it sounds stupid. I know it's finding some really retarded way of having fun with what most consider a really terrible game in the series. But so what? Your point being, I had found a way to have fun with it, but I didn't even need it for that. I enjoyed it for the storyline. I enjoyed it for the side missions, though I thought the side missions were poorly constructed. As in, you had to beat them in a single setting, and when you're a single parent, you don't often get that chance, or you're screwed. You have to start all over, which I thought was really poor planning on Capcom's side. But let's face it, when has Capcom been planning really well? I digress. The point of the matter at this point is just that 6 was fun for at least 2 playthroughs, especially with the drop-in, drop-out playthrough. Now, I'll give you Evil Operations Raccoon City was shit. There's no nice way to say it. That was shit. Outbreak was better than Operation Raccoon City, and it just, I hated it. I played it once through and then I was done. And even then, I didn't really enjoy myself unless I had friends to play with online, which I did with the PS3 thanks to the non-restrictions on multiplayer. Oh yeah, Xbox Live Gold is so much better, except for you can't play with your friends online unless you fucking have Live. Pardon my language. I'm not saying that I hate Live, I just don't like it better than PSN. Until PSN went and made itself into an app, and fuck both companies for that matter, pardon the language. I have no sympathy for either of these companies, and I cannot see them going beyond next-gen consoles. I really can't. Even Nintendo, I cannot see, because they are constantly not learning from their mistakes. They're getting into the, well, it's not our fault that the consumers don't like our product, they're just bad consumers, kind of ideology, kind of like Capcom. And you know what? Capcom is bleeding money. Thanks, internets, for helping me to stick it to them because they suck. They make good products, but I buy them secondhand. I do not buy firsthand from Capcom anymore. They don't deserve my money, and I mean that. But I digress. But 6, it lost its appeal. I get the 3 stories. I could stomach 2 of them. And actually, no, I really couldn't stomach much of the second story. And, you know, when you have people publishing guides, oh, for the best experience, play this campaign up to this level, then play this guy's campaign up to this level, then this campaign, that's way it makes itself work well. I don't want to do that. Just make a good game. Is it really so hard? Or is it me, or have most gaming companies lost the ability to make AAA titles while trying to make AAA titles? Now, granted, I'm going to be renting not Left 4 Dead, excuse me, Dead Space 3 and Colonial Marines this month, as well as hopefully I'll get one of those back in time to play through Revengeance. You know, and there's a lot of titles I am looking forward to throughout this year, but it's because I'm renting, not because I'm buying. Even secondhand, I can't do it anymore. But, you know, Capcom especially was the first company where I just fell into such disillusionment over the gaming industry. You, Capcom, you were so bad. You opened my eyes to what I was paying for and made me realize what a lot of the other companies have been getting away with for all this time. I've been asleep at the wheel, and that's embarrassing because I try to pride myself on being somebody who's rather astute about a lot of these things, but I digress. The point is, 6, in the end, it's a rental. It's not a worth owning. Revelations, worth owning. Operations Raccoon, not worth owning. 5, it's debatable. I say it's worth owning, but I don't care what other people have to say about that. That's my stance, and I don't care. I had fun with it. If you didn't have fun with it, that's fine. I'm not going to insult you or call you an idiot or berate you for it, because why? It's a fucking video game. Pardon my language again. There's no reason to get upset or defensive over it, because it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Oh, noes, somebody doesn't like something I like. I've got to attack them. No, you don't. Stop acting like children. Again, I digress here. There was too much action. There were times I was seriously rolling my eyes during the Wesker outing that they had going there, and if anything, I didn't care. I didn't care at the end, at the end of Jack's campaign. I didn't care enough to play through Leon's. I did Chris's, I did Jack's. I didn't give 2 craps about Leon. Now, the thing I did like that nobody seems to give them credit for, although I think these were specialties that were made only for Destructoid, and I don't know, they made old skins where it was old polygonal models. And now that I liked. That is a reason for me to fish Resident Evil 6 out of the bargain bin and pay for that DLC if it exists outside of the Destructoid contest. Because some of you may not remember, but there was a game that came out that was Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary Edition. Japan only, of course. Came with an art book which showed the evolution of Virtua Fighter, but it came with a mode that you could unlock where you could have most of the new characters in the Virtua Fighter saga as the original polygonal models. And I thought that was such an awesome demake idea that Sega actually did. In fact, I want to import that game, but that's neither here nor there at this point in time. I just don't have the kind of money for something like that. But I thought that was a smart idea. I wish some games would do that. You know, I mean, sure, Halo did that when they did the reboot or the remake, where you could go back and forth between the old graphics and the new graphics, and you could see, and you were technically playing two games on top of each other simultaneously, which I thought was a feat in and of itself. But of course, oh, I'm talking about Halo. I forgot. That's the destroyer of worlds. Everybody must hate Halo because Halo is the suck, or whatever the kids are saying these days about it. And again, it's another game where I don't get the hate. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece, but frankly, I've had so much fun with the series that it's a game I tend to play multiple times, as compared to other titles that people hold up as being the end-all be-all. But yeah, so I applaud this new direction that they're taking. I am. I can't see a reason not to go in this, not to go back to the roots, because what you're doing right now is not working, and I guarantee you Capcom will bleed even more money if they were to be stupid enough to release Resident Evil 7 and it was basically a clone of 6. Only now there's 6 different stories you can play through instead of 3. Ooh! I don't care. I really don't care. The gimmicks eventually become actual gimmicks, and that's when you've made a bad game. That's when you've lost your audience.